to episode 10 of my series, The Best of the Bundts. That's right, the best of the Bundt cakes. I can't even believe this is episode 10. And honestly, one was better than the other. It seems like many of you have enjoyed this series and wanted to know if I was going to do more. Well, I'll tell you, I plan on doing one more before Easter, and it will be an Easter-themed cake. Now, on a personal note, I'm having surgery the day after Easter. It's nothing to be concerned about. I'll only be in the hospital maybe one night, and then I'll probably have a good week's recovery. So I'll do the Bundt cake right before Easter, so you'll have it, and then I'll be back after I recover, and we'll see where I go from there. So, to all my new subscribers out there, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this Bundt cake, and I'll put all the others down below in my description box. So, if you haven't seen them, you'll be able to click on the link and check them out. And look behind me. I know, I'm cray-cray. I'm still learning how to operate my green screen. So they say practice makes perfect, so I'm going to keep trying because I love it. And it's a heck of a lot better than my black refrigerator back there that you always see. I have no choice because I have to shoot in my kitchen from this angle. I have to put black poster board on my refrigerator because the light reflects off it. So I don't love it, but it is what it is. That's why I'm so excited about the green screen. So I hope you enjoy it. Well, what do you say we get started? That's right. Let's get started. So what am I making for you today? Well, I'm making for you a Nutella and chocolate Bundt cake. And let me tell you, and wait until you see how I'm going to decorate this at the end. You're going to love it, so make sure you stay tuned. So, shall we begin? Let's begin. So the first thing I did was I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I took care of all of that. Now this recipe, as well as all of them, but especially this one, it's very, very important that you grease and flour your Bundt pan. And of course you need a Bundt pan. And this is, I think, a 10 or a 12 cup. Either one will work for this recipe. So you can grease it and then flour it. You can use a little margarine or butter. But I'm going to use my flour and non-stick baking spray. And I'm going to put quite a bit in there because I want to make sure that this cake does not stick. I don't want it to be at first because so far none of my cakes have ever stuck to the pan. They've all released perfectly, and I don't want this one to be an exception. So let me spray the pan, and don't forget to get in the middle. This is a non-stick pan, but doesn't matter. I still spray it because better, I always tell you, to be safe than sorry. Oh, isn't this cute? Oh, I ordered this from one of the shopping channels, and it's adorable. These tulips look so real. You got the tulips with it. You had your choice of, I think, 3 colors, and it's sealed on the bottom, so you could even put real flowers in here if you want. So I thought it was adorable. All right, so what do we need first? Well, we need a medium-sized bowl. And in this bowl, and I will put the recipe for you down below in the description box, or depending on the device you're on the side of the video. So let me pull this over so I can read it. Okay, so in this medium-sized bowl, I'm going to put 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. And what I did is you want to cut up your butter in little pieces. So I already did that. So I'm going to put my butter in here. Next, I'm going to put in unsweetened cocoa powder. And I put 3/4 of a cup in there. And to the butter and the cocoa powder. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of Nutella. Now, who doesn't love Nutella? Most of the time, I either eat it by the spoonful, or I'll spread it on toast, or I'll make little croissants or something out of it. But for this particular recipe, it's going in with the cake because it is a Nutella and chocolate cake. So let me get all of this out of here. Now, the next ingredient might or might not surprise you. Whoopsie. I'm going to put in here, let me move this over, 1 cup of hot coffee. You want a nice, strong, bold coffee. And I just brewed this in my Keurig. You either use a strong coffee or an espresso coffee. And I'm going to pour this right over what's in here. Oh boy. Alrighty. Now first I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to mix it all a little bit. And then I'm going to whisk it together. You want all the butter to melt. You want it to all be combined. So the hot coffee should begin to melt your butter. So let me mix that for you. I'll be right back. So after I get it mixed a little bit, I'm going to whisk it with my handy-dandy whisk. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would so appreciate it if you went down below and hit that little word that says subscribe in red and the little bell next to it that's gray till it says all, and that's it. Doesn't cost anything and you're a subscriber. And you won't miss all my future recipes. You'll just get a notification that says Dolores. No, it won't say Dolores, but that is my name for everybody that's new here. It will say the Baking Diva has a new video up, and that's it. So it also helps my channel to grow. So I'm whisking this, and I can see it's all getting nice and combined. The butter's melting. The smell of these cakes is like heavenly. I love making the Bundt cakes, and you know that. Anybody that follows me, you know it. This is number 10. They look so pretty on the table, and they're always so moist and delicious. Oh yes. And they're not hard to make. Some of them start out, many of mine start out with a box cake mix, and then you have add-ins. This one doesn't. This is from scratch, but well worth it. Alrighty. One of my subscribers just made a comment, and she said she loves when I say, And I say that, I guess, quite a bit. I'll say, okay, we're going to do this, So I'm glad she's enjoying it and I made her day. All right, this is all mixed. Doesn't take long because the coffee's hot and the butter's cut up in pieces, so it melts easier that way. All righty. See that? All mixed up. I'm going to just put this aside for a few minutes just to cool. Make sure it's all cool. Yes, sir. All right. Move this over here. I'm going to go rinse off my whisk. I'll be right back. Okay, this isn't hot at all. You know, you could set it aside for a couple of minutes just to make sure it's cool. Okay, to this chocolate mixture, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of full-fat plain yogurt, not vanilla flavored, plain. So I'm going to put that in here. Okay. I'm also going to add 2 eggs and some vanilla extract. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to take my whisk again and mix all this up. You don't need a mixer for this cake. Just some muscles and a whisk. So I hope you're all doing well. Is everybody that celebrates Easter ready for that? Yeah, I have a lot coming up. I have my birthday coming up this week. And then there's Easter. And then, as I told you, the day after Easter, yuck, is my surgery. So I'll be glad when all of that is over. Not the birthday or Easter, but the surgery. All right, so I got all of this mixed in here. I want to get it all combined. All right, looks good. Okay, I'll put this aside. Now I'm going to take a larger bowl. Here we go. And in this larger bowl, I'm going to put dry ingredients that I'm also going to use my whisk for. So in this bowl, I'm going to put my flour, and I'll give you the measurements. I have all of this pre-measured so we can move on quickly with it. Okay, flour's in there. Let me get my sugar. It was 2 1/4 cups of flour, and here is my sugar. And the sugar is, let me see, 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Then we're going to add a little bit of 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. A 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And some salt. Is it a pinch of salt? No, it's not a pinch of salt. It's 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to take my whisk that I'm going to rinse off here, and I'm going to whisk all these dry ingredients together. All right, so I washed off my whisk, and I'm going to whisk and make sure all of the dry ingredients are combined. Now wait till you see how I decorate this cake at the end. Maybe my green screen will give you a hint, but trust me, you won't want to miss it, so make sure you stay till the end. So once I get all of this mixed together, all my dry ingredients, I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. And you want to make sure that you combine that so you don't see any patches of dry. It all has to be wet. Okay, so this looks like it's all mixed. You can get yourself a rubber spatula. I'm going to have to stand up for this. And I'm going to pour my wet ingredients into my dry ingredients. And you're going to mix this all. You can do it with a spatula. You're going to make sure that there are no dry patches in the bottom of your bowl. You want everything combined. Okay. So let me start doing that now. I'm going to mix this all up. So let me mix it all up, and when I get everything combined, I'll do it off camera. I'll be back, and I'll show you that we have to put it in the pan, and how long we have to bake it, and what we do next. Alrighty. So I'll be right back. You see how I'm mixing it? I'm taking my spatula, and I'm just going below and above and getting it all combined. Really, you don't need an electric mixer for this recipe. Oh, there goes my grandfather clock. Best to do this with a spatula, see, because you can go down under to the bottom of your bowl. Make sure you get all of that dry ingredients mixed in. Anybody who likes chocolate, Nutella, hazelnut, coffee, you're going to love this one. And I'm always so happy when I see my subscribers write me notes and tell me they made the cake and it was delicious, or they made my cookies and everybody loved them. I mean, what am I doing this for if nobody's going to make it? It's fun to watch it, but what you really want to do is make it and enjoy it. And if you're new here, I hope you'll come back. I can be a little cray-cray on this channel, but I like to think we have a little bit of fun. So this looks like it's all pretty mixed to me. Alrighty. So now I'm going to take my very well greased and floured pan, move this over, and I'm going to put the mixture in the pan. Whoa, this is heavy. Okay, here we go. Woo. Turn it around a little bit. Sure smells good, but don't they all? Okay. They've all been enjoying these Bundt cakes in my house, let me tell you. The last one I made, that was the strawberry Bundt cake, I gotta tell you, that disappeared probably faster than any of them. The other one that was popular, was a couple of popular ones, was the Black Forest cherry one that you mixed in with everything, the can of cherry pie filling. That was delicious. And, of course, the peanut butter and chocolate one. They were all good. But I have to say, they were probably maybe my top 3. I'm not sure. All right. Does the Diva lick the spoon? Does the Diva lick the spoon? Take a guess. Of course I lick the spoon. So good. All right. I'm going to tap this a few times. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. I like to get the bubbles out of it, and just cooks a little better when you tap, tap, tap. All right. I'm going to put this in my 350-degree oven for 50 to 60 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the center, and you can insert it pretty far down, comes out clean, and there's no wet cake. And after I take it out of the oven, I'm going to let it cool in this pan for probably about a half an hour. I always tell you, don't take your hot cake, don't try to take your hot cake out of the pan. It may not release, and it may break on you. Give it a chance to cool in the pan, because as it cools, the cake starts to release a little bit from the sides of the pan, and it just comes out a lot easier. So after I bake it, I let it cool. I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to decorate this baby, and we will do our usual taste test. I'm back, and as you can see, the cake fell right out of the pan perfectly. It says to bake it between 50 and 60 minutes, and this came out perfectly after 50 minutes. So I would say at the 50-minute point, check it with your toothpick, and you'll be able to tell if it's done or not. If not, because every oven is different, you can keep it in a few more minutes. And this is cool now. So I'm going to make a nice frosting for this, but I'm not going to do it like I usually do and have it, dripping all down the top of the cake. This is just going to be on the top of the cake and just dripping down a little bit. And then, as you can see from behind me, we're going to decorate the top of this. But we're not decorating with just that. We're doing something special. So I'll show you in a minute. The icing is just a mixture, and I'll give you the recipe of confectioner's sugar, some of the unsweetened cocoa, and we're going to put a splash of whole milk in it. And we'll just put a little splash. We'll mix it until I get it the way I want it. So a little splash. That looks like a little splash. Let me keep stirring it. And you'll stir it till you get it the way you want it. We don't want it real thin. We don't want it like a glaze. And we don't want it real thick, so it's not going to, look good on the cake. So let me just experiment with this. Better to start off with a little and add more. Okay, I think I'm going to have to add a little more. I don't think that was enough splash. Tiny bit more. Okay. Here we go. So let me mix this up off camera so you don't have to wait. It won't take long, and I'll be right back. We'll decorate this baby and do a taste testing. Okay, as you can see, I put a couple of splashes of milk in here. I don't want to make it real thin. I don't want it dripping all down the cake like a glaze. So this is going to be a little bit thicker. So let's try this. See if it works. I think it's going to be perfect. Yeah. Right. Because cake always tastes good with a little icing on it, right? Yes. All right, I have most of it out of the measuring cup. If you want to be more precise, you can use a spoon. I mean, that'll all come off when I transfer it to a plate. Okay, so what's the best part? Well, I have a package of the Ferrero Rochers. You know these candies. Oh, they're so delicious with the hazelnut in them. Oh, so good. But if we just put them on the cake like that, it'll look okay, but it won't show up that well. And we want this to be a masterpiece. So what I'm doing is I have a little tiny container. It comes like this. It's edible. It's called luster dust. Comes in all different colors. So I put a little bit of it in a plate here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your candies, and this works best with your finger. Dip your finger in the luster dust, and you're going to rub on top of the candy. Look at this, and it's going to give it a beautiful metallic gold sheen. Look how pretty that is. It's going to show up so much nicer than just plain chocolate, and it's going to give a wow factor to your cake. Whoa, look at this. Gorgeous. And I'm going to probably place about maybe 8 of these candies on top of the cake. You can get these in almost any store. And this makes a perfect Easter cake. Makes a perfect cake anytime. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to place that right here. Oh my goodness. And I will definitely put a still in for you. Look at that. How beautiful. So I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to put them all around the cake, unwrap them, and make sure you get your chocolate ones, either your dark or your milk chocolate. They have them in white too, but they're coconut and they don't go with this cake, so don't do that. So we take our foil off here. This happened to be a package where they came a mixture of light and dark. Here we go. I'm going to get my luster dust and put it on here. Look at that. The dark one had like more of a little tiny spot of chocolate on the top, so the luster dust looks beautiful. It almost looks like stripes on the top. And you can play with this. I use the luster dust when I make my molded candy. Very pretty. Okay. I'll do the rest off camera, but I wanted to give you an idea. Look how beautiful this looks. Oh my goodness. My goodness. So let me put the rest of the candies on. Don't go away. I'll be back. And we got to taste this baby, right? And I'll put a still in the video for you. I have to say, I think out of all my Bundts, this is the prettiest. You can't appreciate it on camera. So let me take a little bite of this, baby. It's too pretty to even cut. Woo. Making a mess here. Always making a mess, Diva. All right. A little piece in there. Let's see what this tastes like. And don't forget, there's one more Bundt recipe coming. So if you haven't already subscribed, hit that red subscribe so you don't miss it. All right. Got the icing on here. Mmm. 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 As usual, very moist and chocolatey. Just a hint of the Nutella flavor. Don't really taste the coffee, but you know that if you bake a chocolate cake and you put a little coffee in it, always brings out the chocolate flavor. So anyway, I'm going to eat my cake. Thank you all for stopping by. Love each and every one of you. Make this. See you all very soon.